Hello everyone, my name is Eliza. I do entrepreneurship and startup founding content here on YouTube. So if you're interested, please subscribe for more content like that. So today I'm going to do something that I'm pretty excited about. I love everything to do with like Shark Tank and stuff. And in the UK, it's called Dragon's Den. And it was like always on, one of the channels. It would always be playing. And so what I thought I'd do today is I thought I would react to a video of Dragon's Den and kind of break down what's real, what's not real, what you should be thinking about so that you can create a killer pitch for your investors and get your startup off the ground. So the one I'm doing today is called Partnership on the Rocks After Shambles Pitch is Torn Apart by Dragons. Before I begin, I just want to do the disclaimer where this is an entertainment program. There are going to be nuggets of truth in here, and I'll go over those things so that you're aware. But a lot of this stuff is obviously heightened, and it makes sense. I've chosen one where the pitch doesn't go well, and just looking at it on YouTube, except for the ones that do like phenomenally well, the ones that consistently get the higher views are the ones that don't go well. So there is this element of trying to create that entertainment factor that does make it unrealistic if you're actually trying to get investment for your startup. So I'll try to highlight those when I see them, and to let you know how to structure your pitch for when you are trying to get investment money. So here we go.
Hello Dragons, I'm Darren Markwick, Managing Director of Parcel Boxes Installed.
I'm Liam Stamp, I'm Operations Manager.
I'm Brian Wilcox, and I'm the inventor.
Okay, so I know I'm stopping it really quickly, but this does bring up a good point, which is who should be present at your startup pitch. Here we have 3 people. One of them, I think it said, was the operations manager, one of whom is the inventor, and one of whom seems to be a sales representative. We're going to see later on exactly what that relationship is between all these guys, which is kind of where it goes off the rails. So in terms of who should be at the meeting, it is important, at least originally, for the very first meeting, because you're likely to have more than one, that you should have as few people in the room as possible. It really should be the founders, because investors want to know who they're investing in, who the main person that they're investing in is like. And it's very tempting if you've got several people in the room to use them as crutches. Someone might be a better public speaker than you are. Someone might have a better handle on certain numbers. So it's very tempting to bring them in so that they can supplement. But I would advise against it because they really want to see whether you have the chops. So at least initially, it's better off to know those numbers yourself, to have the people who are good at public speaking teach you the skills, so that at least at first you can show a grasp. And then if they get into something really technical or something really nitty gritty in the financials, then you can say, let's bring into the room someone who's an expert.
Of these parcel boxes.
We are here today seeking £40,000 for a 15% equity share in our startup company.
Have you ever come home to find a parcel on your doorstep? If it hasn't already been stolen, letting everyone know you're not at home.
Or you've had a parcel delivered to one of your neighbours and you need to go and retrieve it, wasting your valuable time.
We have...
Okay, so this is the next piece of it. Now, I will give these guys credit. A really, really strong way to start, and pretty much how all major successful pitches begin, is that they define the problem. If you can get investors bought in on the problem and then bought in on your solution, you are most of the way there. Everything after that is sort of semantics and can be worked through. It's got to feel emotionally true, the problem, obviously. It's got to feel like something that really is a problem. And then maybe more importantly, it has to be a problem that people are willing to pay to have solved for them, specifically pay you to have solved for them. But that's where the solution bit comes in. But it is important to point out that they brought up a couple points. They brought up the lost packages, and they brought up like a package accidentally going to someone else. I personally think it may have been stronger if they would have found some kind of statistic to see like what value is lost either to the consumer or to companies by having mislaid or lost packages. That could be a really, really strong way to define the problem, especially because what you want to have happen is, you know, companies lose X amount every year. I'm only charging Y amount, which is much less. So companies would much rather pay me to provide a solution. I will point out, though, that the solution that they will bring up doesn't solve one of the key problems that they outlined, which was packages accidentally going to other people's mailboxes. This product doesn't actually solve that, and you'll see that going forward. So it's really, really important to precisely define what problem your solution is solving. Because usually you pick an area and there's many, many different problems. Your solution is unlikely to hit all of them. That's just the way of things. Certainly your initial product might not. So you just want to be really careful that your solution matches the problem that you're solving.
A patent-protected anti-theft parcel delivery box which is courier agnostic and accepts multiple deliveries. If I can give you a quick demonstration. So any courier can turn the handle and open the drawer, place the parcel inside, close the drawer, and it automatically gets delivered to the secure compartment. And then with your key, you can retrieve it when you come home.
With the parcel box, we genuinely believe we've
So, I mean, this is just where I'm coming from, but I am wondering if there's some technology you could integrate here. Unfortunately, these clips don't tell you when the episode originally aired. You know, as soon as you start showing your solution, and now they're in the solution demonstration phase, there's a couple of key things that a solution needs to hit. Obviously, it needs to solve the problem and solve the problem that you described. It needs to have something unique. It's often referred to as like a unique selling proposition or USP. So something about your solution that no one else is doing, so that they want to go to you as opposed to anyone else. So these guys are competing with normal mailboxes. They're competing with those Amazon lockers, depending on what year this came out. So being really aware of your competition and what features and benefits they have is essential to show how you're different and unique, and a certain kind of customer would probably choose you over any of their competition. I'm skipping ahead.
Not going to go and have a filing cabinet near its outdoor area, is it? It's pretty much for people that are lucky enough to have either brick walls or nice big houses, isn't it?
Okay, so the first issue that Peter Jones is bringing up is that the market size is small. This is an example of, you know, I personally think that he's saying something that's like kind of clever to be clever, but in reality, I don't think this would be an issue necessarily. So when you're thinking of your market size, you're thinking about what potential revenue you can have coming in. The two things that factor into that are the number of people buying and then how much money they're spending in like a classic sense. There's other business models that can do different things and different ways of charging people, but that's like the basic breakdown. If you have few people, that's not necessarily an issue. You know, luxury brand products have fewer customers. That's just the way of it. But they're paying so much more than you would for a standard type of product. So just because this only refers to people who have space in their garden for mailboxes. Well, there's quite a lot of people who have gardens, and if this is a compelling enough problem that they pay a high premium for this product, you're still making a hefty revenue, and that can still be pretty viable as a company. So I wouldn't necessarily discount this just because not every single person can use it and only a certain subset of the population can use it. If they're paying a lot of money or if they're repeat customers, then it can balance out.
I wouldn't have said that. Well, yeah,
Would you put that in the front garden?
Well, most houses have a front garden,
Yeah,
yeah.
but it looked like somebody's left their filing cabinet outside.
Okay, yes, the aesthetics is probably going to be a problem for these guys. It isn't very attractive, and it also doesn't necessarily look like a mailbox in the classic sense, so that might create confusion. To make this like more generalized, you do have to think about the fact that any new product that you bring to market is going to require some change in behavior on the parts of like various people, whether it's the customers or in this case, the delivery people are going to have to change their habits a bit to accommodate the product. So you have to really think about making that as frictionless as possible.
Lalvani, who wants to unwrap the company's share structure.
So shall we start by figuring out how much you guys each own of the business?
So
Oh, boy.
I'm a 79% shareholder.
I have 1%.
And I have 20%.
Yeah, so this comes
Right,
back
so
to
she
having
does the
1%. Having 1% is probably not enough to warrant attending a meeting like this. They're just not a big enough part of how the company is run and where the company is going in the future to be here at least for this first meeting.
As up to now, we've been two separate companies. Darren's company has sold 68 units, but my company's sold about 500 in UK and Europe and another 500 in Japan, and then we're merging the companies together.
Okay, so here's where this clip definitely and this company does go off the rails in terms of unusual practices. I think what's happened here is that the founder has come out with a product. It's pretty decent, but he doesn't have selling experience, so he doesn't have highest confidence, and then someone's come around and said, we can sell a whole bunch of units for you and maybe provide a little bit of upfront capital to kind of get things going. And he's fallen for it hook, line, and sinker and has like headed off with these guys and given up 80% of his company, which is wild. In general, this is true of investments as a whole, which is not really covered so much in Dragon's Den and Shark Tank, and I'm sure I will talk about it in the future. But these guys take like enormous percentages of companies. Actually, a lot of investors don't want to do that because you don't want to disincentivize the founder. If they've been diluted so that they only own like a tiny percent of their company right off the bat here in these early stages, then they're not going to be motivated to be the revenue generating big buyout kind of company that these investors want. So it's pretty unusual for investors to take out a certain percent. There's reasons why they might. I'll probably talk about that in a different video that's more focused on valuations, whereas this is kind of focused on the product and the weirdness that these guys have done.
So
Right, so what sort of business is your company doing at the moment?
my company's been more in the inventive side of it, and then Darren and Lynn have been the salespeople.
Right, so the investment today would be in the combined company?
Yes,
combined
yes.
companies, yeah.
And the IP will be held in that company
Yes,
as well?
yeah.
That's correct.
So
Yes, so ownership of IP, especially in something like a merger or anything like that, is a huge deal. So always know where your IP is owned. And it should belong to the company, not to any individual person or anyone else.
Okay, so year 2, which is the magic year.
Yeah.
So give me the magic figure.
Turnover 383.
383.
This is not taking into account Grant's figures.
Oh my God,
No,
please
I'm not-
stop saying that.
Come in here.
Combine the
All due respect.
figures. Okay, so when you were talking to investors about financials, like do the topmost line first if they say, what's your projected revenue, say total projected revenue first. And then if you've got any kind of breakdowns by region or by different kind of product, whatever, do that afterwards. They just want to know top line stuff usually. So nothing disaggregated, everything together in an aggregate at first, and then you can talk about the breakdowns later. Like, this is driving me wild.
Sorry, I'm sorry, I've got to stop. This is a shambles. Are you seriously expecting us to sit here and add all of your numbers together so we can work out for you whether or not you've got a business that might possibly work joined? I've never seen a presentation like this in the Den.
Yeah, I mean, she's totally right. You do not want investors to have to be doing work for you. You want to make it as easy as possible. Investors are coming into this thinking of any reason possible to say no, that if you have any kind of risk factor, if you have anything where they feel like they've got to come in and do a whole bunch of work to get this up and running, it's going to be a no. So do as much of the work for them as possible.
We've been a bit naive.
This is an embarrassing moment for you, but it's...
But the fault lines in their pitch soon began to appear.
Well, that's life.
I'm absolutely speechless.
It is shocking.
We won't be doing a celebratory dance.
Deborah.
And it's created a seismic split in their new partnership.
As Deborah said, it's a shambles, and, you know, I can't disagree
Oh,
with that.
thank God. Thank God that he didn't actually go through with the merger. So at least he's been saved from that.
Based on what I've just experienced, I won't be merging with these two guys now, most definitely.
And Brian's walking home.
Yeah, fine.
What? Oh my goodness. So these guys were definitely just scamming him. That's wild. That's wild. They definitely saw that he didn't know what he was doing and took him for a ride. So definitely try to find someone in your network who is a mentor either in business itself or even just legal stuff, so that, and if you can trust them enough to say, you know, here's the document, can you look this over? Or just, you know, describe the kind of partnership you have, because I guarantee anyone in his life would have told him not to do this, that this was a wildly poor decision, certainly the way that they had it structured. Maybe you could see something of like, if you're hitting certain sales goals, you do something, or you vest after a certain amount of time, you know, that's very often an option. But like this isn't the way to go. Okay, so that's it for this. I really liked doing this style of content, so I will probably be bringing this up quite a bit. And if you are interested in any startup entrepreneurship topics or anything related to Dragon's Den or Shark Tank, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.